Today is March 18th, 2019. It is a Monday right after the selection show, right after NFL first week of free agency, and we have a loaded show for you. We are on Facebook Live today. This is the first time that we will be going live, and it definitely will not be the last. You guys will see my pretty mug on here from time to time, and I hope you guys get used to it, and I hope you guys enjoy. But let's get down to the show. All right. So today's show is brought to you by Brackets for Charity. That's going to be our first event. It's a charity event that I put together, and I made the announcement about a month ago, and it is now time to start collecting. It is now time to start donating. It is most of all now time to get you online and start your brackets. All brackets are $5 a piece. That means you could buy as many as you want for $5. You know, if you want to buy 100 brackets and spend $500, that is perfectly fine. 80% of those proceeds are going to go over to Nicholas Children's Hospital in Miami, Florida, and 20% is going to go to the grand prize winner. Now, I posted last night on my own personal Facebook because I haven't really taken the time to go out of my way to explain the situation of why I am doing this. Yes, it's very personal to me. It is very special to me, and it is something that I want to do moving forward, probably for the rest of my life, to be honest with you. On August 10th, 2017, my daughter was born. I have two beautiful daughters. One is about to be 10. The other one is a year and a half. Now, when she was born, she was life flighted over to Nicholas Children's Hospital, where me and now my now fiance spent 2.5 weeks inside of that hospital. And like many parents that go through those unfortunate circumstances, we weren't prepared for it. It just wasn't something that we had in our mind that was going to happen. And so we had no financial backing. So when it came down to it, sorry about that. So when it came down to it, we were unprepared for food. We were unprepared for any situation that possibly arose. And there's many parents like that, and that's what this is for. This whole entire Brackets for Charity, it's going towards kids and parents who do not have the funds to withstand those long stays. Now, the reason why I do that is because I went down for coffee like I do every single day, and I explain this on my Facebook post. I go down for coffee, and at the cash register is a nurse and a young boy. And that young boy is sitting there, and he has like Doritos and just a sandwich, just everything that you would normally get for lunch. And I noticed that lady went into her own personal pocket and opened up her wallet, and she decided that she was going to pay for it herself because the kid didn't have any money. And as I could see, there was no parents around. Kid had to be around 9-10 years old at most, same age as my daughter. So I noticed that, and I decided to take out my wallet and pay for it. That's not even a part of the story. I don't even care. But more, I got to sit down and talk with this kid for a couple minutes and just talk to him about his jersey that he had on. He had a Dwayne Wade jersey on, and just for me sitting down there and talking to him, it made his day. It seemed like it made his whole week. And so I vowed at that point in time that I was going to, no matter what, give back to that hospital and do what I could for those kids that don't have the funds in order to buy their food, or their parents that are staying there. Either they're in the room, the waiting room, the family. Trust me, it's not a fun scene. But so that's why I did what I did. And that's why I'm going to do what I do. So that's why Brackets for Charity has started, and that's why it is such a big thing to me, and that's why it's very, very personal. So if you guys please, I have Venmo, PayPal, Apple Pay, cash, check, whatever way that you possibly could donate or participate in the Brackets for Charity. It's all possible. Donations are going to be taken up all the way until I go down to Miami myself and personally hand it to the person that I have to. And that's how that's going to go. But if you're in it for the victory and you're in it for the money and everything like that, and you want to give back, and it's the great way to enhance what you're doing and to get out there and make money as far as like with the brackets, So with that being said, like I said, it's $5 per bracket. I have 520s here. I'm going to put $100 in. Now that you guys see, I'm going to put $100 in. 80% of this is going to go over to Nicholas Children's Hospital, and the other 20% is going to go into the pot for the grand prize. But I'm only going to place one bracket. So I challenge every single one of you guys to beat me. I don't think anybody out there could beat me. And that's what I want to see. If you want to see, put your money up and do it for a good cause. But I don't think you guys could beat me. So here we are. And let's get the show started because I'm so excited from such a great week. We have great things going on. It's March. March Madness is here. Brackets for Charity is now officially going on. It's a great time. So this past Sunday, speaking of college basketball, we had the conference championships. And boy, did we have a great weekend. I mean, we saw 2 championship games before they even played. Let's just be real. We saw North Carolina and Duke, which had to be one of the best college basketball games of the year, without a doubt. Zion Williamson, this kid is unfreaking believable. He had the most monstrous performance that I've ever seen in a conference tournament. 81 points. Unanimous MVP in my eyes. He might even be the unanimous Naismith player of the year. I mean, if we could check the tape and show the facts. When you look at Duke, when they played without Zion, and Duke when they play with Zion, they're a scary team. They're a 2-1 favorite going into the NCAA March Madness. It's the most heavily favored team going into March Madness since 2014, 2015, which I believe happened to be the 39-1 Kentucky Wildcats. So I've just looked at my Duke. The only team that I see beating Duke in their bracket or in their region or that they come along is Michigan State. For me, when it comes down to college sports, if you look at the college football and if you look at college basketball, it always comes down to who has the better coach. The better coach or the best coaches are always in the finals. Always. Dabo and Nick Saban. Urban Meyer. These are the greatest coaches that they're the precedent. Just like Tom Izzo, Coach K, Roy Williams, John Calipari. Those guys, I feel like that's where you're going to see the advancement is in these big teams. Cinderella stories, we get them all the time, but as far as like winning it doesn't happen. I can't even remember the last time a Cinderella story won. I mean, if you want to throw Villanova, Villanova wasn't a Cinderella story, but they also have a great coach as well. They keep going back and back and back, and all you're going to see is a list of amazing coaches. So with that being said, we already know who I have in the national championship. It happens every single year. Circle it. I put them in. From the moment that the bracket starts, I put Kentucky in the national championship. It's fanhood, but am I wrong? Am I far off? I get 68 teams to choose. I'm going to choose the best ones. That's how it goes. So a couple upsets in there, which we're going to go over in a minute. So let's take a look at this bracket now that we're on the subject. We have not one, not two, 3 number 1 seeds out of the ACC. So 1, we have Duke, Virginia, and North Carolina. That conference is just so dominant year in and year out. The ACC is the SEC of football, or basketball, without a doubt. I mean, there's 3 teams at the top that could potentially win a national championship. Virginia Tech has had a decent year this year. Cuse hasn't been bad. I mean, Florida State, they're one of the deepest benches in college basketball. They beat Virginia 3 times this year. Wow, 3 times so far. Also in Duke's bracket, we have the playing game, North Dakota State, and the the team. I didn't even see what the team was called. But if you read about that coach of that team, he said, "I don't care who we play as long as it's not Duke." As long as it's not Duke, because he sat there and he praised Zion Williamson, he praised the Duke team. Now, how do you feel if you go and win that playing game? If I'm a player on that team and I just listen to my coach basically say that I'm going to lose the following round, why would I want to give you my all? If you have no faith in me, why should I have faith? Why should I have faith in you? So I see you, Dylan. You said ACC and Big Ten go hard. Yeah, it's the best. Without a doubt, ACC, the best in college basketball, without a doubt. So you also have VCU. VCU isn't like how it was before, so don't buy into that. It's not the same Virginia Commonwealth that we're used to. They could go on a run, but they have Duke next round if they get by the Central Florida. So, but it's not the same VCU team that we're used to. I see Mississippi State and Liberty. I might have a 5-12 upset there. I might tell you guys that one. Maryland versus Belmont or Temple. I like Temple in the game against Belmont, so I'm riding with Maryland regardless. Yale and LSU. LSU's been a very, very low-key good team this year. They beat Kentucky and they beat Tennessee. They've actually beaten Tennessee, I believe, twice. I'm not sure, but twice, I believe. If you guys want to fact check me, go ahead. Louisville, Minnesota. It's good to see Louisville back up after Pitino, after the whole Pitino incident with the women. It's good to see Louisville back in the tournament. And yes, I just threw shade. Yes, that happened. Michigan State, they're one of the hottest teams in basketball right now. Michigan, Tom Izzo has them firing on all cylinders. I am banking on that 1 versus 2 matchup in the Elite Eight. That's all I want. I want Michigan State, Tom Izzo versus Coach K. Give me that, and let's see who wins. Gonzaga's weird. For Gonzaga, every single year I buy into them for a little bit, but they always fall off in the Sweet 16 or around the Elite Eight. They just, ever since Morrison and that whole team, I've never bought into Gonzaga. I could give them a little bit of space, but as far as putting them in there, I can't do it. Never have, probably never will. Cuse, Jim Boeheim. Cuse is one of those teams that has a low seed for the past 2 to 3 years, and then they go on that crazy run because they have one of the best coaches of all time. Like I said, buy into the narrative. It's not about the players. You want to buy into Zion? Perfectly fine. You want to know why Kentucky lost when they were 39-0? They were outcoached. Outcoached by Wisconsin. That's what happened. Marquette, Murray State. I like Murray State. Marquette has not impressed me all year. Murray State, I'm all in. I just want them to win. I want them to win. I'm all in on that kid Duran or whatever his name is, or I don't know, but that kid is exciting. And as far as like with my Cavs losing or winning all the time now, I would not be mad if that man ends up on our team. So going more into the bracket, Buffalo, another MAC team that is very, very good, highly competitive. I actually saw Zach Jackson, one of the Cleveland Browns, Ohio reporter. He put $3 on it. You can win $3,000 if Buffalo wins the national championship. Something to think about there. We also have Texas Tech, North Kentucky, Nevada, Florida, Michigan, and Montana. And that bracket, rather than me just tell you who I think is going to win, I just rather you guys speculate. And it's a team that I'm not allowed to mention and a team that I hate, and it's a school that I hate a lot. But I see them winning it because that's the easiest bracket of them all, if you ask me. Virginia, Ole Miss. I got Wisconsin, Kansas State. I got St. Mary's upsetting Nova. Nova's been, besides the Big East tournament, Nova's been inconsistent all year. All year. So I'm not buying into the narrative. I like Nova. I picked Nova when they won the national championship. They won me a lot of money. So I like Nova. But this year, too much inconsistency, and I'm going to go with St. Mary's. Purdue, Old Dominion. I like Purdue. Cincinnati, the American Athletic Conference champions. I believe they've moved forward and they will play Tennessee. And the next bracket, we have North Carolina, Utah State, and Washington. Notice how I'm not saying the 16 seeds because their short appearance is not even worth me even mentioning. Congrats to getting there, but we all know what happens after that. Utah State, Washington, Auburn, New Mexico State. I like Auburn. Auburn, another really dark horse team that went on it's all about who's hot. It's just like any other sport. Who's hot when it's right. And right now, I would have to say Auburn, very hot. Blew out Tennessee. I'll give Tennessee the benefit of the doubt because they played a great game against Kentucky. They might have been worn out. They might have gave it all they had. That might have been the championship game. But Auburn is hot. So I'm going to go with Auburn, and then I'm going to say Kansas. But in that game, I have Auburn over Kansas. I have Auburn going pretty damn far. All right, so we have Kentucky and Wofford. Iowa State, Ohio State, Houston, Georgia State. I got Ohio State, obviously. I mean, they're in a down year. Iowa State coming off the Big 12 championship. Iowa State very much can win this game. My bias is going to take into this. I'm going to take Ohio State just because of pride. But Iowa State could very well blow out Ohio State. We also have the Houston, Georgia State. Houston is on the rise. Houston is a team that all year has just dominated in a fashion that we just haven't paid attention to because of everything else that's been going on. It's been the Duke show. But Houston, very good team as well. Don't be surprised if Houston goes on a long run here and might even be that team. We also have Kentucky. Like I said, Kentucky, Wofford, mark it, book it. Put it wherever you want. I have Kentucky going all the way. I love PJ Washington. I like Hero. I love everything about Kentucky's the way that they play. And don't get distracted because they didn't win the SEC. If you have not paid attention to Kentucky, they lose late every single year. Every single year, Kentucky has a downfall late in the year. And it didn't come as bad as it did normally. So we also have the playing games. We have North Carolina Central, North Dakota State. That's the one to play Duke. We have Prairie View and Dickinson in the West for the 16th seed to play Gonzaga. Belmont and Temple in the East for the 11th seed. And in the West for the 11th seed, we have Arizona State and St. John's. I said it at the beginning of the year. I said it 2 weeks ago. I like St. John's. I think St. John's gets into the tournament, and when they get into the tournament, they will go on a nice little run, and that's just I bought into St. John's, and that was earlier in the year, but they have a tough road ahead of them. Like I said, winner plays Buffalo at MAC school, but very, very, very good, very good. I watched some of them, the MAC tournament during my time off this weekend, and Buffalo is one of those teams that could be a dark horse. So that's basically the gist of the bracket. I can't really give you too much details because, like I said, I'm challenging every single person that is watching, listening, or anything to come get this money. Come challenge me. Join Brackets to Charity, $5 a bracket. I'm putting one bracket in, and I'm thinking I'm going to beat everybody. So if you guys want a side wager, I have my messages open, perfectly fine. But in order to go head to head with me, you have to join Brackets for Charity. If you're afraid, I understand. No big deal. So moving on, we're going to go into one of the craziest weeks of my entire life. So you watch Adam Schefter and you watch Ian Rappaport on ESPN and NFL Network and all these different television programs that have these NFL insiders, and you're like, I want to be them. I want to be that guy that delivers all the news. I want to be that guy that has the phone going off 24/7 and going nuts. Well, I did that this past weekend. And how did that go for me? Well, it brought me up 42% of my screen time on my phone, and it also 6 hours more on my phone than the previous week. So I was very, very busy. My head was pounding. I was up until 2:00 in the morning at times, just following different things. And all the people that followed, listened, or kept track through just my opinion, thank you so much. I appreciate that a lot. I put a lot of time and effort into that. But That's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about everything that happened. And, well, what also happened in NFL free agency. I think that there was a couple trades last week, I would have to say. There was one that involved a wide receiver. Oh, Antonio Brown. Antonio Brown, as you can see, he's over now. He's in Oakland. He's a Raider. A Raider. Under John Gruden. The John Gruden show there. That's going to be interesting. One of the biggest divas in the game, Antonio Brown, with the soft-spoken Derek Carr, and, John Gruden, the man who built his legacy off of Tony Dungy. Looks like he knows what he's doing a little bit now, but let's say facts. He built a Super Bowl winning team off of Tony Dungy's defense. So that happened, and it almost looked like the Steelers got finessed. They truly did. I think it was a third and a fifth to give up Antonio Brown. Now you have 21 something odd million in dead cap. And Pittsburgh fans are just sitting there like, it's all good. We lost Le'Veon Bell. We lost Antonio Brown, but we'll be okay. We're still the faces of the AFC North. We're built on Big Ben. Big Ben, the one who cannot work with anybody that is a big personality, or maybe even someone that is somewhat eccentric or boisterous. Big Ben can't work with that. But if you give him Jerome Bettis and Hines Ward, who sit there and shut up, best believe he's good. He's good to go. But we won't. Pittsburgh fans, they don't want to place the bet. They don't want to place it on Big Ben. He's a Hall of Famer. He's a Super Bowl winning quarterback built on a great, phenomenal defense and a phenomenal scheme and a phenomenal system. But listen, don't criticize Big Ben. He's the only great Steelers quarterback. He was the only one that ever was able to do it. Besides Terry Bradshaw. I remember Cordell Stewart wasn't too bad. You guys remember Tommy Maddox? He wasn't really that bad either. But you see the Pittsburgh always has these systematic these systematic quarterbacks that just work. Well, finally they had two people on their team that weren't systematic players. They were elite playmakers. Elite. And Big Ben couldn't gel with it. He couldn't. He's not about the sharing the spotlight. Not about that. No, this is my team. I have my radio show where I can go criticize you the week after, even though I threw 3 picks and I threw 15 to 20 incompletions and 10 of them were in the ground. But don't criticize Ben Roethlisberger. Never criticize Ben Roethlisberger. Or else you're traded to Oakland with a young quarterback. So, just my opinion. But there also was another trade this past weekend. And I think it involved another team that I know very, very well. And I think it involved the Cleveland Browns. Oh, and I think it involved a guy named Odell Beckham Jr. Now, I could sit here and dance like every single other Cleveland sports fan and Cleveland announcer and all these guys that are just ecstatic. And that's true. They should be. We've never been a Super Bowl contender until literally this year. I mean, even the year that Derek Anderson was 10-6, we weren't expecting that. We weren't expecting Kelly Holcomb and Tim Couch, William Green, and all those guys to take us to the playoffs and beat Atlanta and stop Michael Vick on 4th down and send us to the playoffs. And all of the other teams were going to lose, like the Jets back in early 2000s. Oh, yeah, I remember that. I remember sitting next to my TV screen at 4 o'clock watching the games unfold. And as soon as 8 o'clock hit, the Browns were in the playoffs. But so this is the first time Cleveland celebrate. Be excited. But there's another narrative that nobody's talking about. Now, I noticed that Kareem Hunt, he's 8-game suspension, I saw. I have mixed views about that. 2 daughters, really can't have somebody beating up a woman on TV. It makes it really, really hard for me. But you want to know where there's no excuse at? Tyreek Hill. And there is a point to all this why I'm bringing up these guys. Now, Tyreek Hill is now being investigated for a battery assault against a woman. No, not against a woman, but against his 3-year-old son, where his son broke his arm through the incident. Now, the reason why I bring this up is because one man, and he drafted these guys, and that was John Dorsey. And that man is now in Cleveland, and that's the man that made the most incredible move in Cleveland sports history of landing Odell Beckham. But why are we not sitting here questioning John Dorsey and his character and his character evaluation? It's unbelievable to me. Unbelievable that we're sitting here and Kareem Hunt kicks a woman on TV, Tyreek Hill breaks his son's arm, and the man that drafted him and the character evaluation was John Dorsey. Now, Kareem Hunt is now in Cleveland. What's going to happen? Tyreek Hill is going to get released, and now we're going to sign Tyreek Hill. You sign Tyreek Hill, I'm done. This is not Adrian Peterson whipping his kid with a belt a little bit too hard or anything like that. He hurt his 3-year-old son to the point where he broke his arm. There's no place for that in the NFL. So Odell Beckham to the Browns, great. Kareem Hunt, fantastic football. It's a phenomenal football fit. We don't even need to discuss that. They're going to have one of the most dynamic offenses. But what does it cost? When are we going to stop? Are we going to start evaluating everybody based on the talent? Should I do that in society too? Like when these guys are in prison, should I evaluate how they are? Should I evaluate their talent level? How good they are at cleaning? How good they are at working? That's where we're grading human beings on today. And I'm not about it. I can't do it no more. I stamped my name on the Urban Meyer situation because of the whole because of everything, the facts that came in, and we never really understood. Still, I have a sore stomach about even just doing that. And then we signed Kareem Hunt, and I have a sore stomach about stamping my name on that because, she called him the N-word, and it was just a mix-up. It don't matter. I've been called so many different things, and I never kicked the girl in the face. I mean, you just don't do that. It's just not, no. So, and then you have Tyreek Hill. So as far as John Dorsey goes, executive of the year and everything like that, and the greatest man to ever walk this earth, let's watch this all play out. Let's sit here and we'll see 2 or 3 years down the line if these guys are still on the team, what happened, and most of all, if these guys can keep their head clean. Because for me, what I said about the whole Kareem Hunt situation from the beginning is simply, why would you want to put the guy that, every single thing that he's ever done wrong is done in Northeast Ohio. So we're going to stick him there full time. We're going to put his work there. We're going to put him there full time and just hope he does well. Stick him around all of his friends. Christ, you learn that in rehab. You learn not to go people, places, and things. It's the number one thing you learn in therapy: people, places, and things. Yet we're sitting here. We're sitting here talking about Kareem Hunt and the Browns and how this is going to work. But nobody wants to bring up the fact that my man was doing all of his dirt there. So I'll sit back on that one. But John Dorsey, hell of a job. Browns are going to be unbelievable. Offense is going to be incredible. Sheldon Richardson, Olivier Vernon off of that trade. All you had to do was part ways with Jabril Peppers, the 17th pick, and our third round second best pick. I'm fine with that. But I really got to see all of this play out because I don't like the fact that of John Dorsey's history of character evaluation. Earl Thomas is now a Baltimore Raven. You guys remember him in that whole incident that happened with the Seattle Seahawks. Kind of in the same boat of Le'Veon Bell. Except Le'Veon actually sat out. Earl Thomas decided to play. Earl Thomas goes and gets hurt, gets screwed over by the Seattle Seahawks. With that, he got screwed out of money, but ended up being the second highest paid safety in this free agency behind Landon Collins. Landon Collins is now going over from the Giants now to the Washington Redskins. He's going to play the Giants 2 times a year. The Giants seem fucking gutted. They're gutted. You got rid of Eli Apple last year. You got rid of Landon Collins this year. You dropped OBJ. You're riding on Eli Manning, who can't even throw the ball 10, 15 yards down the field. They're gutted. But David Gettleman, I saw little glimpses of his interview today. It was the funniest thing because I'm going to tell you what clicked in my head. Gettleman says it seems like we got our first round picks because they got the 17th pick in the draft and then they got Jabril Peppers. I will never grade a Sashi Brown draft pick as a first round draft pick. Corey Coleman, Brandon Weeden, Johnny Manziel, that Justin Gilbert kid that played corner from Oklahoma State, Sheldon. These are all Sashi Brown's first round picks, all of them. They're not even on the team anymore. So as far as that goes, I don't buy into Sashi Brown and Jabril Peppers being a number one pick. Giants fans, be worried. Be very worried. You have Ingram going over from the Saints to the Ravens. AFC North is looking pretty decent. Josh Rosen is now on the trade market as well. Josh Rosen seems like he's almost a perfect identical fit to the Giants. I mean, he's almost Eli Manning. He pretty much plays just like him. I never bought into Josh Rosen. I don't understand how everybody loves Josh Rosen. The kid's been hurt nonstop. He got hurt in college. He was injury prone in college. But I do not like what the Cardinals did to him and put him behind less talent and a horrible offensive line, and he just got eaten alive with zero running game. Where was David Johnson? Shout out to all the fantasy people that took David Johnson with the second, third pick in the draft. Jeez, oh man. Was that a wash? It's almost like me drafting Lev. The worst part is I held on to fate and I kept him all year until it finally became clear that he was not coming back. Oh. Who else got signed? We have Fitzmagic is staying in Florida. Fitzmagic is going to be the bridge quarterback for the Miami Dolphins. I mean, a guy that built his career, another one, Nick Foles and Fitzmagic. They built their careers off of coming into the game on certain circumstances and just playing out of their mind. But we're going to give them an incredible amount of money just to, I don't know. You basically swapped Nick Foles, the backup quarterback. I mean, he won a Super Bowl, but Nick Foles for Blake Bortles. And if you look at the regular season stats of Nick Foles and you look at it compared to Blake Bortles, now mind you, Blake Bortles was trash, never belonged in the NFL, but it's not that far off. Why are we doing this again? We're doing this just to set up another one. Another offseason full of quarterback speculation with these teams. I mean, the Dolphins, I think that they should come in and get into the bidding wars of Josh Rosen. I think that they, might as well. You might as well. You have nobody. You could go in and you could try and see if the Giants aren't taking Haskins. I mean, you might as well try and get Haskins because he's either going to go to the Broncos or he's going to the Dolphins if he falls back. Supposedly Colin Kaepernick is now interested in joining the Dolphins too. Make a signing, make a splash, make a move. So there we go with that. The let's see, the Le'Veon Bell whole situation. Le'Veon Bell is now with the Jets, and boy did he lose a shitload of money. I mean, I can't understand how somebody could take $14 million, light it on fire, and just say, screw it. There was this parade down in Stewart. Literally this weekend, there was a parade down there, and this lady was talking about how they had to cancel it. She lost $9,000. I got sick for her then. Imagine looking at your buddy, or like you call your boy up and said, yeah, I just took a $14.5 million loss, but it's all right. I'm good. I went jet skiing down in Miami. I dropped a new mixtape, and on top of it, I spent a lot of time at Live. But that 14.5 is gone. Bye-bye. But he got out of his situation. You know what I found interesting? And just to touch on the Steelers organization, what I found interesting most this past weekend was it was Wednesday, was the announcement of Antonio Brown and that whole entire interview. And he expressed the fact that the Steelers never met the man's family. I wonder, and you guys blame these guys for leaving. You guys blame these guys for leaving. Antonio Brown was He went to Central Michigan. He was brought up through the Steelers organization. Okay. He went from nothing to something, and the organization never met his family. Unbelievable. Let's not even get into the 837 receptions, 11,207 yards, the 74 touchdowns. But nah, we can't meet the man's family. Oh, no, wait. Le'Veon Bell, we can't pay him with the 1,229 times that you guys gave him the ball and the 5,336 yards rushing, not even factoring in passing yet or receiving. 32 touchdowns or 35 touchdowns rushing. Receptions, 312, 2,660 yards, 7 touchdowns. Unreal. I never met the man's family. Unbelievable. You know who I'm shocked about that's not making. There's some teams out there that are right on that bridge of being Super Bowl contenders, and they're not making any moves. The Carolina Panthers are not a bad team. They're not making any moves. The 49ers are making a ton of moves. I don't see the Seahawks making a ton of moves either. I don't see the Patriots making a ton of moves, which surprises me. Get Tom Brady. Can we get a top 5 wide receiver on the Patriots? I don't want to see it. I don't want it to happen. I mean, I want to see it. Never mind that. But I hate the Patriots. I still want to see it. Give me a top 5 receiver on the Patriots. Just to see it. 1 year. Not Randy Moss right before he's going to retire. I don't want that. I don't want the 7-foot Gronk. I want Josh Gordon, 2013. I want Odell Beckham, 2017. I want Antonio Brown 2 years ago as well. Like, that's the type of... I want Brady to have that. Or give him an elite running back, too. I just give him weapons. Just so we can see it. You make us put up with this stupid-ass dynasty every single year. Why not make us watch it with some playmakers? Instead of some undrafted free agents that are going to get paid crazy amount of money for no reason the following year when they go to a different team. I watched that. If you guys watched that YouTube video that just came out, it was a video of the Patriots dynasty and showing all of that and explaining how, like, you know, these players, what they made that year, and then the following year when they signed their contracts, how much of a raise that was. It's incredible. It's incredible. And it's not like these guys leave and have a crazy careers. Brandon Cooks is the one that, you know, stood out for me in this past 4 or 5 years. I mean, it's unbelievable. Trey Flowers is going to get paid. He's in Detroit. I saw another article that had it matched up that the Browns and the Lions are on a collision course to the Super Bowl. Oh, my God, dude. We haven't even played a game. The Browns were 7-8-1 last year. Stop telling us that we're going to the Super Bowl. Let's win the AFC North. Let's come in second place. Yes, I'm going to put money on, though, that they go to the Super Bowl and win because I'm a diehard. But who else? So we touched on Earl Thomas. We touched on OBJ. We touched on Lev. We touched on Antonio Brown. What other signing was out there? Oh, let's talk about the one that was missed. I'm down here in South Florida. Let's do this one. So there was this interesting report going on about Teddy Bridgewater and the Miami Dolphins, and it makes a lot of sense. Teddy Bridgewater from Florida, from Miami, from the area. It makes a lot of sense for him to come here and start. The Miami organization is so dysfunctional. Teddy Bridgewater was like, I'm going to go play backup with the Saints. Tyrod Taylor was like, I'm going to go play backup with the Chargers. I'm just going to sit behind these guys, and if they need me, they need me. If they don't, they don't. But I have a better chance winning a ring, and I'd rather do that than go be a bridge quarterback for Tua or Trevor Lawrence. You know, so that was an interesting event because you're sitting there and you're watching the reports. And now, mind you, I have somebody that's very close to the Dolphins organization. You're sitting there watching the reports as they unfold, and you're kind of ahead of the game, and then all of a sudden it just dies. Like, I was fully on board. I was excited for the Dolphins organization. I was excited that the Dolphins were going to get a quarterback that was going to be somebody that they could trust and somebody that they knew, a hometown guy, kind of like that whole, I always love those hometown stories. I kind of hope Kevin Durant goes to his hometown and plays. I hope LeBron comes back and plays in his hometown. All those hometown stories are very good. Kind of wish Kobe would have went to Philly. Talk about it, That's the type of guy that I am. I like the hometown stories. But the Dolphins miss. And I don't understand how the Dolphins miss on free agents. You have the number one prime destination in the country almost in Miami. You have the Super Bowl coming up this year, and you can't land a good free agent? Unbelievable. Unreal. Who else got signed? CJ Mosley. Also signed by the Jets. Anthony Barr was on his way over. Man, the Jets would have had a great defense right then and there. Darren Lee, too. Oh, my God. Anthony Barr backs out in the signing of CJ Mosley. And boy, did CJ Mosley make crazy money. Now, I have some different Baltimore Ravens fans that are on my on my news feed, and they are 100% right. I started looking it up and started doing some research and trying to figure out if these guys were just joshing me or if this was actually going on. But most of these guys that play for the Ravens on these defenses, they go out and then they get paid just like the Patriots, and then they don't perform to where they should be. Eric Weddle, to be honest with you, I'm hoping. I hated Weddle when we had to play him 2 times a year. I'm pulling for Weddle with the Rams this year. Hardcore. Like the beard, I like everything about him. I love that mentality. I like that tenacity, that energy. So when it comes to Weddle, I think Weddle's going to be a great impact with the Rams. But will Mosley pan out to what he's supposed to be in New York? I mean, let's look at the stats. I'm going to take a second. Look up these stats right here for CJ Mosley. Now, he's only been in the league 2 years, but he's combined on 579 tackles or assisted on 192 tackles. He has 8.5 sacks. Seems like a lot of money for 8.5 sacks. 9 interceptions, 157 yards, and 1 TD. I mean, let's compare him to... No point. These players in the NFL, let's just touch on this. These players in the NFL, I hope everybody here understands that when you get these contracts, most of these guys are never going to see that money ever. They will see the guaranteed money, but as far as their contract goes, they will not see the full term of it. And that's something for people so hard to grasp. Like Kirk Cousins is never going to see that $88 million. He's never going to see the end of it. He's not going to play 8 years. He's not going to play the full length of the contract. He's going to get cut. He's going to get traded. Something's going to happen. And that's why the guaranteed options are so crucial, because these guys aren't going to get that money. Bryce Harper's going to get that 13 years, $330 million, because he's going to play another 13 years. Kirk Cousins is not going to play another 8 years. It's not going to happen. He's going to get his guaranteed money, get his check, and he's out. That's how it works in the NFL. So when you guys sit there and you guys bash these guys left and right, it's all about the guaranteed money. Don't look at the bottom line number. Look at the guaranteed money, because that's the money that they will 100% get. The others, that's just for show. That's just for show. I wish I could pull up a stat and show you the percentages of how many people actually get their full contract. Speaking of which, contracts, another bash on Eli Manning. Eli Manning now just got his another $5 million roster bonus. And he is on pace, and he's going to, as soon as he suits up this season, pass his brother as the highest earning NFL player in history. Eli Manning. Not Peyton. Eli is going to be the highest earner over a career. And he's not even done. We don't even know if he's coming back for another year after that. Imagine that, Giants fans. You got rid of Odell Beckham, and you got rid of everybody, and now Eli's going to stay here another 2 to 3 years. Oh my God, I would not watch football. I know what it's like. if you need any pointers, any questions. I know what it's like to be in the basement. Who else is there? AFC, the Chiefs, that's another one. The Chiefs are completely gutted. Justin Houston gone. Dee Ford gone. All right. Tyreek Hill is probably out the door. Kareem Hunt gone. Spencer Ware gone. Guys, the writing's on the wall. This is going to happen in Cleveland in 2 to 3 years. We're going to have cap problems. The same thing happened in Kansas City under Dorsey's leadership. Get ready. So, but I had a great time today. I'm going to be around all day. I'm going to be doing absolutely nothing. I'm going to be on my phone. I basically wanted to do this Facebook Live and get this out here because I want everybody to participate in Brackets for Charity. Please contact me. You can reach my email at justmyopinionmf@gmail.com. Also, you could reach out to me via Facebook at my personal page, which is going to I'll be sharing this from Michael Fabian. We also have, my cell phone number if you have it, but Venmo at JMO Sports. Please participate. PayPal is /JMO Sports Show. $5 a bracket. That's all it is. That's all it is. If you don't have $5 to come take me on and try and beat me, then you're in the wrong league. You shouldn't even be watching this. So, you guys have a great day. Most of all, enjoy. I hope this was a good time for you. I hope to do this more moving forward. But make sure you join in the Brackets for Charity and have a great day. Thank you.